educationist and a graduate of Film and Television Institute of India. A warm welcome to you, sir. And next we have Mr. N.S. Kumbar, who is an artist who got New Modern Depiction of Cultural National Awardee and All India Art Competition Karnataka Rajyotsava Prashasti Awardee. A warm welcome to you, sir. And next we have Mr. Nirmal Shah, who is the co-founder of Counting Well and an AI-driven maths learning platform. We welcome you, sir. And next, we have Mr. Navneet Eski, who is a very young transportation design graduate who is just 21 years old. And he has been driving cars since he was 5. Wow, that's a great achievement. And he did his bachelor's degree in Italy, where he scored 110 out of 110. A huge round of applause for him. And next we have Mrs. Sudhamani B.S., who is our headmistress. Okay, she's not here. Well, next we have Ananya Singh. We welcome you, ma'am. A warm welcome to this program. And next we have Mrs. Siri M.S. about the various topics ranging from embedded systems to software engineering. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. Well, and we also have Mr. Pancham Halibandi, who will be our part. And one are welcome to answer it, and everyone can express opinion upon it. What is Dyota? The reason why all of us are here gathered, meeting each of us. Okay, we have a tiny guy who raised his hand. Okay, what is Dyota? Doctor ag bandila, yellru MBA ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು professors ag bandila. ಹೌದಾ? ನಮ್ಮ field ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು different ಆಗಿ education ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. So the main importance is book knowledge or bookish knowledge is not we are seeking, but the real education is the light, that is Dyota. The brightness, the light, the enlightenment. ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಳನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋಂಥ ದೀಪ ನಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರೋಂಥ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅದು ನಾವು ಬುಕ್ಕಿಂದ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ನಾವು ಕಲಿತಾ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ರು ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂತ ನಾವು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಜ್ಞಾನನೇ ದ್ಯೋತ. A warm welcome to today's audience, our guests, our host, and everyone. A huge round of applause, please. So here, Dyota's mission is to provide contribution. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. So we will celebrate us, we will celebrate Dyota, and we will celebrate today's evening with everyone with a huge energy. And we have a lot of guests over here who are sitting to express their opinion. And a warm thanks, a warm welcome to our host, Dr. Hemalata S. Murthy Narintu. Thank you for hosting such an event such as Dyota, and for bringing everyone here in this evening and making a great evening. Thank you, ma'am. And we'll not delay. We'll start the program by lighting the lamp. Yes, we have the tradition, alva? Now ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಎಸ್, that's how we start our program, right? So we'll start the program with the light, with the Dyota for today's evening. And I would request all our guests to come upon the podium and light the lamp. Mr. Sharath and Harish upon the stage, please.
Sorry. Can you come with a little bit time? Okay. Still.
Thank you. And, okay, that was a great welcome, right? We have brightened our evening. And why won't we start our day with a bliss of music? Yes, are we all ready? Yes? We usually pray for God to start our day, right? And I would request Mr. Pancham Halibandi sir to start today with a music bliss with an invocation. And we have our Sudhamani madam, who is also headmistress of Yelahanka government branch. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, sir. Please start today's.
Thank you. Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Mahanisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Gajanana Bhutaganadi Sevita Kapita Jambhu Phalasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Jayadeva Shri Ganapati Raya जय देव श्री गणपतिराय जयकारक भयहारक जयकारक भयहारक ओंकारकाय जय देव श्री गणपतिराय जगदंबೆಯ ಮೈಮಣ್ಣಲಿ ಮೂಡಿದ ಮೂರುತಿ ಮೃಗಧರ ನೋಡಿದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಬೇರೆ ಆಕೃತಿ ಚಿಗುರಾಗಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನಾಲಿಗೆಯಲಿ ದಿನ ದಿನ ಶ್ರುತಿಯೇ ಹಗಲಾಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನೆನಪೇ ಸುಳ್ಳಾಯಿತು ಮೃತಿಯೇ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿರಾಯ ಗಣನಾಯಕ ಕವಿಗಾಯಕ ಜನತ್ರಾಯಕ ಸಿರಿ ಗುಣವರ್ಧಕ ಖಿಲಮರ್ಧಕ ಸುರಸ್ಪರ್ಶಕ್ಕೆ ದೊರೆ ಅಣು ಅಣುವು ತೃಣರೇಣುವು ಗುಣಗಣವೆಂದರಿಯೇ ಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೂ ನಾ ಸಿದ್ಧನು ನಿನ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬೆರಿಯೇ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿರಾಯ ಜಯಕಾರಕ ಭಯಹಾರಕ ಜಯಕಾರಕ ಭಯಹಾರಕ ಓಂಕಾರಕಾಯ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿರಾಯ ಆ
Thank you so much, sir. That was really a blissful song, isn't it? ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚದಾಯ್ತು, ಗಣೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾಯ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೇನ್ ವಿಘ್ನ ಬರಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಡಿನಾ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಡಿನಾ? Yes? No, I can't see the hands. Yes? Okay. So we've got the permission, and now I would request our Himalata madam, who is the host of today's event, to welcome all our guests. Ma'am, over to you.
How's the Josh?
Hi, ma'am.
How's the Josh?
Hi, ma'am.
I can't hear you all.
Very
Low? Please, I want that to go more high. We will have to. Why I ask this is because we have started in between. Either it's morning, not the evening, in between. So that's why I asked, how's the Josh? Because while we have decided that something has to go on, why in the middle is the question. I think a few of my teachers know the answer. Why in the middle? So always, while we try to do some event, we need our well-wishers, our supporters, and also the time for our beloved guests who have accepted. Then how can we make it? That is why we went with, in between the period, whatever we have taken is to be suitable for all our people who have joined us for the event today. Before I start the topic, always I remember this. Sari umr hum marmar ke ji liye. Ab to jeene do. Whenever if I want to do something, think something, say something, there are a lot of things that comes into my mind. I started my career as a lecturer in MS Ramaya group of institutions. There I had only vision of teaching students of teenagers or about teenage. Then my vision spread it over taking up the administration. Why only teaching? Why only the purpose of reaching teenagers or about teenagers? Because I have almost served MS Ramaya group of institutions for 11 years. There I decided administration. Why into administration? Not that I will become a leader or not that I will go boss over, because lot of things are there. Why I'm sharing this small topic about Hema is what made us to come for Dyota. So there I decided that let me get into administration. And administration is not an easy job, because while the passion was for teaching is there, then the administration is always a risky one. Dealt with it, took a long journey, been with a lot of a various group of institutions, tremendous managements, hilarious people who have given me choice and chance to work. I have fought also with a lot of people, but always serving someone. Yes, definitely it is good, but serving yourself through motivating others is one motto which was always there in my mind. So there was almost like maybe I have traveled worldwide, visited different countries, spoken for my own subject field of microbiology, where I have been called as a research associate for Salem group of institutions. Even today I go do my papers indirectly, but always my love, passion is for my toddlers, my young students and the youth, where we will have to reach them in the right way. I pursued postdoctorate education. Child in education was the topic. It was not an easy job with all the hand in hand we have families to take up. All went on, and then why did Dyota come up? Dyota is a beautiful dream of us, where it is not only the event to celebrate. We don't want to call it as event to celebrate. We want to call it as event to learn more. And all of you, if you can see, it says talk to reach. Talk to reach on what way? You will have to talk in such a way that the reach is for everybody. Most of the time, the conferences, the events, and tremendous places, I see a lot of organizations which host the events, but to my knowledge, I didn't find the universal clubbing of people, because students are the one right now where we need to reach. Teachers, definitely we do train them. Professors get trained, but where is the challenge of reaching a child apart from school? There are classes for other talents, I don't deny. Parents are almost like tech savvy people nowadays, gadget people nowadays, putting them to 101 classes. But today, while I see a lot of kids coming up with laurel in their achievements, then also we find that there is something extra beyond we will have to make them understand. Dyota is a dream where it's brightness and illumination, which is a thought process of making everyone understand that it is not that dream should be for a bigger one. Even on the smaller things, you can try to do bigger things. How to do? For that, we need to have our vision. We have to have our vision and goals. Without vision, mission, and goals, none of us can do something. So while I was thinking it was vision, mission, and goals, Mr. Pancham Halbandi told, he was the one who gave me the idea of naming it as Dyota. I was thinking that we will make it as a talk show, we will make it as an event, but he said we'll name it as Dyota. So there were the baby or name which has come today. Dyota is one person behind that is he, but whatever the goals, whatever is the mission, whatever is the vision is to reach everyone. It is going to become pan-India, and also it is going to be international. So that way, before that, without me not reaching my own people, going international, going national, or going pan-India was not my concern. So that way, while we were talking about these three things, vision, our vision from Dyota is to make everybody happy. Without happiness in you, what is that we can try to do? And our vision is to see what is that the person or the child or the mentor, whoever it is, what do they want? See, through gadgets, through apps, we are reaching everywhere. But what is that inner feeling that is there to understand? That is required. So, to approach, to take, to talk, we want, so that is our mission to take it up. And future, everybody, all of us cannot stop. We definitely should have a big future with a lot of goals. Our goal is not only training people, but understanding the needs and demands. What is that and how is that we can make it up? It is could be health, could be education, because always I have been there with education 25 years, but for me education is a part. Education should have a path and pavement to spread out itself to reach lot of places. Could be like just now I was talking to one of the gentlemen, he was trying to talk about Elagardu. Where is the feeling connected to Elagardu? Definitely feelings, thinking and thought process doesn't inculcate, or if you don't fail, also you will not come up with ideas. The ideas have to come up with this. So our future is to make, if there is an idea with anyone, please do knock us. We will try to support you to reach the better pavement. Because definitely we will not try to tell that we will make you, because a horse can be taken to drink water, but the potential and capacity of a horse, it is depending on itself. So always I feel there is a ship on the seashore cannot be, it doesn't serve the purpose. If the ship moves in the sea, what are the benefits? So many benefits the ship carries. It is not only, it definitely looks elegant while we sit and see from the seashore. But what is that ship doing? Where is it reaching? What all it is taking up? It is taking happiness. It is taking up reach of needs of the people. It is taking the gadgets, could be the machineries, tools, what not. So it has to move. So we have also started our ship from one of the place or called as one of the start event. Let us see how best we can try to reach. So in the goals, we have lot of ideas reaching the sports personalities as well as artists, as well as the young generation who wants to develop their own apps, their own tools. So many things are there which will come up. There are so many things which we will not talk in the beginning itself, because talking and not proving becomes vain. Proving with doing things I believe in, and most of us believe in. So always again, all the time I try to tell, success doesn't give us anything. Failures make us do anything. I was also a big failure. I was not able to come on the podium, but I was definitely a stage artist. I have performed all over South India. I'm a classical dancer, but while ever I used to think what to talk, I had to plan for. But today somehow, lot of events, lot of conferences, lot of places have made me tell things, reach people in such a way that good can happen only if we try to put hard work. Every one of us are good, none of us are perfect, but anything that small goodness should happen, there should be some thinking, there should be some small efforts, and there also should be the pursuing nature should be there. Not that we think, not that we feel and stop. We will have to move ahead. All that is about our Dyota, because we need to see personal development. Personal development should definitely happen with the youngsters. Nowadays, what is happening with the youngsters is they are behaving according to the mindset of parents. Most of us, inclusive of me. My dad wanted me to become a doctor. Today I'm a elsewhere doctor. But behaving and reaching things with the mindset of parents, because kids nowadays are very smart. They have elaborative way of telling things to world. Why don't we give them the chance? If they don't do mistakes, where is that the learning happens? I say A plus B is equal to A plus B. Sorry, I'm not a good math person, but kids should not believe that. Sir, I just deliberately bought this because you're going to talk about it. So, A plus B, A plus B, the child should start questioning. That is what we want most of the kids nowadays. I am so happy to see them. Always they come up with enormous questions. Every teacher in the classroom will feel that should we have to go read back or understand. I don't want that Google Amma to answer. I want teachers, parents to think and give creative thought process in the children. Because nowadays everybody are telling, open Google app, lot of things are available. Guide, what happened to your Google minds? Please parents always see to that you will reach your own kids by giving them to open up their minds. That's what I want to tell. So Dyota is there with the personality development for future goals of health, also money planning also, because without money nothing can happen. Everywhere we need to understand how to make money. Earning is a part, but utilizing money in the right way is also one more thing which we will have to think for. That will also come up with us. And what is that? The family. Without family we cannot do anything. How much is that bondage? Every now and then I want to send my child abroad. Why Indian universities do not have good qualified professors? Why don't we make them understand India is a beautiful country. They can learn, read, pursue things. After that, please move over. See to that. It is not the two things, that is IIM, IIMB. There are many things that kids can talk in India nowadays. But let us see how best we can make them understand this. That is also there with us in the part of Dyota. And last but not least, I want to see to that one of us have faith, because faith is that which is more important. That should be there in each, because why I'm trying to tell faith is whatever we want to do, whatever we want to share in, or whatever we want to spread, it has to have that confidence. So that has to be taught for many people, because that's becoming like that. Before it wasn't like that. So Dyota is there to reach all of you in the right way. So for that, to inaugurate, how did all the guests who are here seated accept it? Dr. R. Krishna sir, I think we met in Mumbai. It was 6 years before. We were there talking in Didac. Well, how does the event happen? I think one more gentleman from Don Bosco University, all three of us were together. Then sir was trying to tell management. Sir, I even now remember, you were talking about management. I then came back to Bengaluru, I was with SP school, then understood why not management introduced with the school level. Definitely to tell today, sir, part of CBSE, I have given a few papers through management and improvisation, few things have been also getting accepted. And welcome you, sir, for accepting the invitation. While I was talking about Dyota, actually we wanted to do a bigger event in between, calling people from outside. No, we didn't want people from outside. We wanted heroes who are there in Bengaluru and heroines in Bengaluru, because every one of us have a lot of potential. Then just spoke to Dr. Bala sir. Sir is from film field. I called him, sir, it is not an event. We are inaugurating the Dyota. He blindfold said, Madam, what time should I be there? Sir, I welcome you for accepting the invitation, sir. While I think me and Nirmal Shah sir shared the webinar, it was about mathematics. It was Singh sir who brought us to the platform. Then I thought, why should I get formally introduced to you in Coffee Day? Let me call you as a guest and try to make people understand what is that all you're doing. Welcome you, sir. And Mr. Kumbar, what a great artist you are, sir. It's amazing that I have seen your potential on your websites. I want you to make children grow like that. I see there are national awardees, international awardees. All is the dedication you have. It is through Padma I got to know you. Welcome you, sir. Sudhamani ma'am and me, I think it's a bondage almost more than 7 to 8 years. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಡ? ಆದ್ರೂ ಶಿವರಾಮೇಗೌಡ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಅವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ದು ಮಾತು ಶುರುವಾಯ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್? ಅವಾಗ ಯುವರ್ ಡಾಟರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಾಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ, ಈವನ್ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ ಟುಡೇ. ಅವ್ರು ಅವತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಭರವಸೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದಾರೋ ಇವತ್ತು ಅದೇ ಇದೆ, ಅದೇ ನಗು ಸದಾ ಅದೇ. ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಸ್, ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಲೈಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ರು ನೀವು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಅದೇ ತರ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇನ್ವಿಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ. Navneet Ranjan, I didn't know, but I knew what he's doing. What an amazing profile he has. He will talk about that. I will not talk. How did I come to know about him? Rather, I will not call him a student because Suja, who's there, who's sitting there back, I got this idea how and why we are only calling the guests who have experience, guests to prove the world with his or own potential. And Padma told, ma'am, Navneet Ranjan. Yeah, Padma, yes, I will call him. I'll talk to Suja. Suja, thank you for me. I'm so proud getting him here today. And Navneet accepting the invitation. Thank you so much. Ananya Sen, I think I called her. She was busy enough. And Padma, I told Padma, she's not lifting the phone. What should I have to do? Then immediately she calls back and she tells, ma'am, I'll be there at what time. Thank you, Ananya, with small words of mine you've accepted. What a beautiful choreographer you are. I welcome you. It's always not the least, because why? Again, always I call a guest, there is one beautiful student. Anytime I have seen her, I have seen some capabilities in her. It was not through her mom. It was not through her dad. It was only Siri for me always. I think I have been associated with her. While she responds or I respond, there will be a vice versa connection. Siri, welcome you. And I don't want to talk more because you have been always a lovable student of mine. Show that on the stage. Thank you. All the parents who have accepted got the toddlers today. What an incredible achievement I have been seeing while the list came to me. Hats off and a big round of applause to all the parents who've been giving this support to the parents. So the felicitation is a part, but inculcation, involvement and more of things is from the parents. Welcome you parents. See, why I got my teachers last is, they're there with me always. How? Why? I think many years, even though that is a breakthrough for us. If I tell Jisha, if I tell Namita, if I tell Lalita, or could be Poonam, Kumuda, Purnima, who else is there? Sridevi is still writing the certificates for me. That's all fine, Sridevi. And Padma, we are there like this always. It is free of learning, free of sharing. This is what we learned, I think, while we were together. So without me felicitating you, it becomes incomplete. On the day where we are on talking about our Dyota. So that way, welcome you all, my teachers. Thank you. And my beloved people who are there in and around here, could be Sunaina, could be Mausmi or Nitin. They are small words, not me, Pancham would have called them, but they have accepted. Welcome you all. Ashwini, no welcome, you are going to talk about everybody. So you are there with me everywhere. White petals, Ashwini is there. Outside with white petals with Hemlata, Ashwini is there. Welcome you. Where's Bhumika? Okay. And I welcome Bhumika here with all that small things which you have accepted. Thank you, ma'am.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಬಂದು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ. ಯೂಶಲಿ ಕನಸು ಕಂಡಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಿನ್ನ ಕನಸು ಕಂಡವರು ರಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ವೈಲ್ ವಿ ಡ್ರೀಮ್, how we express is different, and how the third person express, it's different, right? That's how the welcome was. She explained, she completely elaborated what was her dream, how the dream was, and how beautiful it is going to be. So, a warm welcome to you, ma'am, and thank you so much for welcoming everyone with such a great place. Alright, so we have got a brisk explanation about what Dyota is. And are you all ready to see a quick video tape on Dyota? Yes? Yes, everyone? With me? Alright then. Well, it's upon the stage. So now everyone know what is Dyota, the vision, the mission. You have heard, you have seen, you've experienced it. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes? Alright then. So now we call upon our chief guest, Dr. Krishna sir, upon the podium, and I request Hemalata madam and Pancham sir to felicitate him for accepting the invitation with the humbleness and for joining us for today's
You
event.
do what I have come here, sir. Thank you. Honestly.
Respecting you and celebrating you is a part of us.
Kumar. Sit.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us for today's evening. Well, we have our first birthday today. So why don't we cut the cake? Are we all ready? Okay, I guess all of us are tired of saying yes, 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 most of the time. Yes, again yes. Okay, no problem. We'll start by cake cutting. Well, it's quite a birthday and we are quite joyous. Okay, since it's a cake cutting event, we'll all call upon the kids who are sitting over there, and please, the stage is yours, the cake is all of us. Come on. All the small kids. Come on. You can join us, come on. Even you're a kid. ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಯಾರು ಬೇಗ ಬರ್ತೀರೋ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೇಕ್. She is the tiniest one. Bindu and Shubha ma'am, please join us upon the request of Hemanta ma'am. Thank you. You'll all get your cake. Please be seated. ಪಾಪ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಗು ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. Alright, so I know ಎಲ್ರು ಕೇಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂಚೂರು ಕಣ್ಣಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು. I know it's snacks time, coffee time, so little hungry ಅಲ್ಲ? Who is hungry? Lunch ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Hungry? Tea, coffee? Okay. I guess most of them are waiting for the snacks. No problem. So we have heard, we have experienced it, we have celebrated it just now. We'll start. And as per I know, once Dr. Abdul Kalam said, the first scientist on the earth. You know who is he? Any idea? Any guess? Any idea? Any guess? The first scientist? Yeah. No, it's not Albert Einstein. Exactly. It's a child. You know why? Why did he say that? Because the child is every time curious. The answer will come when there is a question, right? So we all will be the children. We all will learn. We all will ask more questions. We all will learn, will continue the journey. And not to delay, we'll call upon our chief guest, Dr. Krishna sir, upon the stage to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
After a passionate and exciting introduction about Dyota by Madam Dr. Hemalata. Mano Bhadrah Kato Yantu Vishwata. Let such more noble thoughts come to us from all sides. This confluence itself is a personification of inclusive education. The backgrounds with which so many of us have congregated here at the behest of Madam Hemalata itself is more a symbol of inclusive education. Perhaps it would be more superfluous to say anything with respect to inclusive education, let alone critical thinking and balanced psychological approach. I believe the theme of today's Dyota, as we declare it open, centers around our theme which talks about inclusive education, critical thinking as well as balanced psychological approach. I personally look at the theme in three different perspectives. One is inclusive education itself. The second part is critical thinking. And the third part, the final part, is balanced psychological approach. I believe it looks in the form of a triangle, each one its equilateral angle, equally supporting and wanting to be so for the purpose of extending this article in our constitution which guarantees education to everybody and everybody. I'm sure all of you may have already heard of Sarva Shikshana Abhiyan, a guarantee that every child must compulsorily would be provided an opportunity for undergoing education. Beyond that is the Samagra Abhiyan, Samagra Shikshana Abhiyan, the overall development of the child, which only helps the child to come up and face all the vagaries of the life that it is going to face. I have, and I'm sure all of us have, passed through these stages of being a student, being a teacher. Some of you are professional teachers here, and I'm sure everybody is also a parent here. And I come in the form of an educator, and I was till recently an administrator, like Madam was very nicely mentioning about it. I was with the Don Bosco group of institutions as a group director. When I say this, I interpret in the meaning of as an administrator, when I looked at from the upper angle to look at the various dimensions of the education as well as the administration itself, it was quite a tough challenge to include all possible stakeholders in the field of education, and therefore I support and endorse this concept of inclusive education, critical thinking as well as balanced psychological approach. I believe inclusive education has five most important components. One is relationships that the teacher and the students develop in the process of mentoring the child, not only from the academic pursuit perspective, but also from building life skills for the purpose of facing various challenges, and advocacy, what all the teacher tells, the children would blindfoldedly accept and go about it. And this builds a sense of identity in the child to identify itself in the large part of the society. And teachers play a tremendous role in sharing their experiences with the student, because if the student himself or herself has to undergo all the experiences the teacher has undergone, look at the quantity of time the child will take. And these shared experiences will also fall under one of the important components of inclusive education, and of course transparency. When I say transparency, I mean to say here how transparent the teacher is in sharing knowledge and skill with the student, because a good teacher looks at her students on par with her own children. While a mother would not cheat, would not defy anything to what she considers very lovable to herself, So does a teacher. Transparent enough to share everything that is good for the student. That's how it goes about in the form of the fifth component of inclusive education. This is pretty large slide, but let me share upon it. Inclusive education includes identification and enrollment of students, the age-appropriate course and standards to which the student aspires to, assessment and distribution of aids and appliances for their learning to happen more and more effectively, and the corrective surgery. Corrective surgery is when a child tries to do something which is not in alignment with the social requirement or the requirement of the tutelage of the child. The teacher will have to take up certain corrective surgery. Surgery need not be physical surgery over here, psychological surgery to say. Curriculum adaptation and distribution. Curriculum adaptation is whether it is a state syllabus or a CBS syllabus, whatever the syllabus, the school and the teacher will have to adapt herself to that particular curriculum and go about it. Inclusive education also cater to the wider section of the society. That there is one of the important parcel of the group could be children with visual impairment, for whom braille distribution or braille book distribution will also have to be there without any distinction or discrimination by the teacher. Because inclusive education, to tell you the basics of that, includes anybody and everybody in the society without any distinction in terms of gender, without any emphasis on anything on the religion, caste, creed or whatsoever. Sarve Jana has to be included in that. That's why it's called inclusive education. Perhaps in a city or a cosmopolitan place like Bangalore, we may not be aware of the vagaries of the exclusive education. That's the reason we now talk more and more about it, because now recently you may have read in the newspaper, Afghanistan Taliban government has banned higher education, or for that matter any degree of education to women there. Now imagine in a society like Taliban's Afghanistan government, if women are denied of education, what is going to happen 10 years down the line or 25 years down the line? What society are they forcing? What society are they creating? We are very thankful and blessed that in a country like India, we have inclusive education. We don't distinguish any gender for that matter, or we don't distinguish any religion, caste or creed for that matter. Everybody is included in the entire process of learning. Our constitution guarantees compulsory education for anybody and everybody. Celebration of World Disabled Day, Braille Day will always help the other common children to understand the need to be associated with them and help them in achieving their educational pursuits as well. Training of teachers, community, people and parents. Look at the enormous gamut which this inclusive education includes, because a well-trained teacher, a teacher who is well-trained can in turn train another 50 students. That's the reason inclusive education also includes the training of teachers, the community, people and the parents. You might ask a question, where will parents come here? I always believe in the process of my academic administration that teachers and the parents are partners in the progress of the academic pursuits of children. When I was working as a director in Cambridge Institute of Technology here, I enforced a parent-teachers meeting in engineering college, unheard of in an engineering college. My principal questioned me, my chairman questioned me, is it necessary at all? We have heard parent-teacher meeting only up to high school, not beyond high school, not even in PUC, not even in degree. You want to do it in engineering college? I was very keen, I wanted to do it. We signed the invitation to we had around 4,000 students in our campus. We invited mostly the final year and pre-final year students as parents for the meeting. 450 people accepted invitation and came with a surprise. Perhaps you will be surprised to know, one of the parents asked, "Sir, what is your name? Whom have you come here to represent? Daughter or son?" Daughter. I asked, which branch of engineering? Your branch of engineering. I asked him, you have come here as a parent, you have come here to represent. I am very happy that you have come to specifically represent your daughter. You are not in a confusion. and you are confused whether your daughter is studying electrical engineering or electronics engineering or computer science, you are not aware. How can you be a partner in the progress of the child when you don't even know whether your daughter is pursuing electronics engineering or computer science engineering or mechanical engineering? You do not know. At least I said, do you know which semester she is studying? I think third semester is studying. What's the question of thinking? You should be very certain about it. I said, do you have a copy of the timetable? He said, why should I have it? Why should you have it? Can you spend 15 minutes every day in the evening with your child? I see in your timetable, today being Thursday, second hour you had mathematics class, or today you had some other class. Can you show me your notebook? What have you taken down in your notebook in this case? Can you ask? Sir, adella high school ge mugidoytu? No, mugidilla. Your child's academic pursuits are still on. How will you understand what psychological trauma or stress that your child is undergoing in the process of learning? We as teachers, we need to understand there are varieties of students in a class. In a class of 60 students, I divide 20 students to be slow learners. I divide another 20 to be another fast learners. Another 20 to be medium pace learners. Now what happens if a teacher adopts a single style and goes about teaching, sermonizing the concepts of what is given in the syllabus? A child which is very fast learner feels it boring, too fast, too slow. For a child which is a very slow learner, feels it is too fast. Medium paced parents will somehow adapt. At the end of the class, if the slow learners are yet to learn, if the teacher has completed a syllabus of 52 hours or 56 or whatever, where are we going? This is what I mean, training of teachers, community, people and the parents who are all common stakeholders in the process of educating the child. Conducting of daycare center, awareness creation, barrier-free environment, providing transport and escort. These are all some of the components that are included in the inclusive education. Next. Inclusive education in a classroom also includes all students learn together. The joy of learning. Perhaps the importance of this joy of learning together is felt more, realized more, especially after the COVID period, isn't it? More and more students were refrained from coming to school. An online platform was opened for them. They missed staying together, that cajoling and challenging and teasing their friends in the classroom and jointly learning. They all missed. I still today, recently I went to my school in Juk Falls, where I left in 1976. I ran and identified the classroom where I was sitting. A classmate was with me, where we were sitting. The joy of sitting together and learning was tremendous. All students learn together, giving teachers assistance and support. The management has to do. I am sure the organizers would have been doing it. Teacher is not merely a person who knows the subject matter and has a delivery capabilities. There are a lot of other support and requirements. Aids are required that management would provide. Focus on abilities, not disabilities. We have enough of instances where teachers focus on disability and claim and proclaim that student is not able to learn because of his disability. Rather, they should be focusing on the abilities of the child. Teachers are learning to expand their skills. The moment many teachers, the moment they take up the job of a teaching, repeatedly they teach the same subject, same child over a period of years. When I come across a teacher who says, I have got 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience, I ask him, 1 year experience multiplied by 10 or 15, or have you improved your last year teaching to this year teaching? Is there a change in the way you have taught? Have you added some creativity? Have you been a 21st century teacher? Because students are 21st century teachers. Students are 21st century learners today. If the teacher continues to be a 17th century teacher and is teaching a 21st century student, when the student knows more than what the teacher knows, you immediately Google and check whether the teacher what is telling is right or wrong. The moment the student discovered what teacher is saying is wrong, what respect the teacher can command from the students. Therefore, this continuous learning and expansion in the learning capability is a compulsory aspect in respect of inclusive education. Connecting with individual learning styles, students differ in terms of their learning styles. some are autonomic learners, some are aesthetic learners, some are visual learners. There are varieties of styles of learning which students, teachers must know. Honoring the needs for all the pupils equally, no student in the classroom should be let out. And valuing other cultures and perspectives, school is a place where students and teachers come from trans-cultural backgrounds. There is no difference in the culture, there is only one culture in the school. And celebrating diversity and individuality, varieties of students, varieties of backgrounds from which students come from, nurturing shared respect and empathy. Sympathy tricks, empathy works, isn't it? That's what the teachers has to do, and nurture respect and empathy for the students to do that. Here is an example as to where a teacher focused on the disability of the student. A school teacher scolded a boy for not paying attention to his mathematics, Nirmal Shah subject, and for not being able to solve simple mathematical problems. She told him that he would not become anybody in life. His mother, however, believed in him and coached him in mathematics. And the teacher sent a letter to the child's mother telling that of all the students in my class, your son is the most dullest and the dullard. We cannot teach him anymore. Therefore, I am terminating him. I am sending him back. Take care. The mother, the boy came and said, Madam, teacher, not. So the mother said, there is a negative complaint about the son. She kept it said, the child was very curious. Teacher, mother played a very tremendous role. She said, the teacher has written to an extraordinarily brilliant student, and they don't have capability to teach you because of your higher level of brilliance on par with other students. Therefore, she has recommended that you be taken to a better school. Don't worry, I'll make her. And she taught the child, and this boy later on became Albert Einstein. Upon becoming Albert Einstein, what he became? One day he was cleaning his cobwebs from the old truck. He found that letter which the teacher had written. Somehow the mother had written that slip. She had not told it. He found and read what the teacher had really written, and his respect and love for his mother grew manifold. In the meantime, she had already left for the next world. Rather, teachers should focus on the abilities of the children instead of focusing on the disabilities of the children. Thinking is a way that the mind makes sense of the world, isn't it? That's the reason we always say, while there are 7 wonders in the world, in a child's head there are 7,000 wonders in the world. So it is our thinking which helps us to connect with what the world makes a sense out of. And that's the only way to understand anything. Whenever a teacher shares a subject in a classroom, whenever we interact with it, I'm sure even now at this point of time, as I'm sharing some of my thoughts with you, your thinking process is also on. Does thinking anytime get rest at all? That's how we're all tuned to, and that's how we should be, rather. And it is the core of the curriculum. The entire curriculum, irrespective of whether it is a primary education, middle education, or higher education, is structured to stimulate that thinking process in the children. Critical thinking is a self-directed process by which we take deliberate steps to think at the highest level of quality. Consciously or unconsciously, we may be unaware of the standards of quality, but critical thinking embeds in itself a higher degree of quality of thinking. Therefore, I propose critical thinking mind is the only educated mind. Let us not jump into conclusion and draw that critical thinking is something you add to everything else. No, that is not critical thinking. Rather, critical thinking is the way you do it. The way you do everything that you want. That's what critical thinking is all about. One may ask a question, why critical thinking at all? critical thinking helps in improving our decision-making capability. I'm sure some of us also come across a situation where we cannot make a decision. A decision not to make any decision is also a decision, at least that decision has to be made. It helps in improving the quality of decision making. It enhances problem solving ability. Management today hires people who are capable of solving problems. Every minute, every part of our accomplishment is bound with so many problems. Madam Hemalata was telling somebody who have come across and faced all types of problems who now come to a fore. It helps you in research, refining your research skills, polishes your creativity, which is more and more found in younger children. As we grow more older, we become more rigid and less creative. It helps in polishing your creativity. It stimulates curiosity. Somebody was talking about curiosity. There's a flip side here. Curiosity has an end. Rather, critical thinking extends curiosity to inquisitiveness, which has no end. A small child would have, how everything is possible to be visible here. We as adults know it is being polluted here. There's a lens here which expands it. There's a connectivity that expands it. How does it work? It runs on electricity. Oh. Where does electricity come from? Electricity comes from that console. Where does electricity come to that console from? From the transformer. Where does it come from? Transfer to the transformer. From the main generating station. What does generating station produce? How is produced? Where is the end for this inquisition? This is called inquisition. Critical thinking helps in stimulating curiosity and takes it beyond the level of curiosity to the next level of inquisitiveness. Balanced psychological approach is also very, very important because today the expectation of the parents and the children is pretty high. The neighbor's child has scored first rank. Why have you not scored first rank, everyone? We have parents who want to have a satisfaction of the vicarious gratification. I'm sure all of you appreciate. My father wanted to become a chartered accountant. He could not become chartered accountant. Therefore, he insists upon his son or daughter to become a chartered accountant. He wants to see the son or the daughter becoming a chartered accountant. It's vicarious gratification. We have enough of such examples around it. Three Idiots is a great example. Three Idiots movie is a great example. Son wanted to do something else, but father wanted him to become something else. Hichki movie you may have seen. Rani Mukherjee, a fantastic movie. All the teachers must see. Super 30 is another movie by Hrithik Roshan. Extraordinary movie. We must all see there are a lot of examples to them. More than anything else, we have Tare Zameen Par. Amir Khan said Tare Zameen Par. Look at the way the parents, both the mother and father, treated the child and took one sports teacher to bring a total transformation in that child, looking at the potential of the child, making a great artist in the future. Balancing is absolutely very essential. Balance changes everything. The moment there is a balance in terms of what the student wants to learn and what the teacher wants to teach, is going to bring a total transformation in the children. Whenever there is an imbalance between personal life and studies, we know what happens. There is a underutilization of the potential of the child, and there is going to be a loss of career building opportunity for this child. And therefore, balanced psychological support focuses on balance and personal growth. And teachers are a personification of empathy itself. And parents should also provide this empathy towards children, understanding their requirement and accordingly going about it. And empathy definitely works. Balanced psychological support, a lot of research has gone into it as to how the society, the parents, the teachers can provide this psychological support to students. It can be done by practicing mindfulness, looking for silver linings in every situation that the child comes across, drawing from positive psychology, looking everything from a very positive perspective. Even Corona had a lot of positive impact, isn't it? Technology came to the boom. People realized that we can work from anywhere in the world. We did not know. So many Zoom and Google Meet and MS Teams and a number of such platforms that came up which were not known till then. Isn't it true? The value of relationships have now increased. The value of life itself has gone very high. There are some positive aspects of it. Take advantage of social support, every one of us. The parent, the child, the teacher, the society, the people who are in other stakeholders must also provide this social support, very essential. That's what I always tell you, if parents can send 15 to 20 minutes every day, compulsorily, at the end of the day, to spend some time with the child to understand what the child's requirements are, true requirements are. I think we can avoid a lot of suicides that are happening in children today. Children at the high school level, children at the PUC level, children at the engineering level are committing suicides. We have students even in IIT committing suicide because they have thought and stress, not necessarily because of the academics, because they have the potential to be there. That's how they were there. After taking admission, they have been resorting to this because there is somewhere you find there is a lack of social support. My generation, I'm sure Bala and Nirmal would agree, we came from a large family. I'm very proud to say we are 13 children to my parents. We are 13 children to my parents. So look at the social support that every one of us has. Today we have only one child. There are many couples, I should say. They don't want to become parents. They don't want to give birth to a child. Now there's only one child. There's only one or two child. I mean, look at the degree of social support the child gets right from where it has to learn. The home. ಮನೆ ತಾನೇ ಮೊದಲ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ತಂದೆ ತಾನೇ ಮೊದಲ ಗುರು, ತಾಯಿ ತಾನೇ ಮೊದಲ ದೇವರು. If this social support is lacking there itself, I'm sure Hemlata madam would have been discussing and talking to many parents. Parents don't have time. Isn't that true? They are very busy making money. Both the mother and father are employed. Isn't that true? They are very busy, very, very busy, so very busy, wanting to earn as much money as possible to make their life as comfortable as possible. They say we are putting all the comfort of the child. I don't know why the child is not suffering. Is it that what the child is looking forward to? Lack of such social support lacks and contributes to a poorer development of the child. Seek out good supervisors, get moving, go outside, make your life more meaningful. This is what the psychological support in a balanced way can take the child to such great heights. Thank you very much. I have shared my thoughts within the time given to me. I guess I have stuck to 15 minutes. I didn't look at very much. And I would like these thoughts to be shared and sync with your thought process and share your perspective. Before I wind, I would like to share one important concern that I have, and I would like to end there. 4 alphabet E's are very important for everyone of us. The first one is education. Where do we all pursue an education? At the end of the education, we take up a job, right? To earn a source of living for us. So the second is employment. The third is earning. What good is an employment which does not help you to earn money? That's what even Hemlata was mentioning. It is necessary for us to earn money in a fair way. This is necessary for all the human beings. The fourth E is to be added to the word human, making it humane. When our education, an inclusive education, can result in creating that humane nature in human beings, that's when perhaps our inclusive education and critical thinking can ensure a balanced psychological approach. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you so much for your blessed words, sir. Are we all enlightened? Yes? We all learned something? Yes? Yes. Alright, thank you so much for your wonderful words, sir. It means a lot. So next, I would like to call upon Mr. Balachandra sir on the stage and address the gathering.
Hello, good afternoon. Come on, guys. Okay, listen. I had asked Hima ma'am to put me in the last of the speakers list. Because one, I did not know what to speak. I thought I'd pick up from all the rest of the speakers and then make a collage of it and end the story. I think, can you have a slide, my slide? Yeah. Okay. Whatever our chief guest spoke, I think it includes everything that anybody wants to speak about. So I will not repeat anything. But what we have done is actually implemented what all he has been talking about. That's the difference. Now the funniest thing here is I'm a filmmaker. Okay? And that's what I was supposed to be doing. But somewhere along the line I got involved with children. I started a children's magazine in 2007 because I wanted children to read. Reading was coming down, but the social media is still not coming into play. So there's still an opportunity to get the children to read. And me and my friends were all readers. We used to read. All through our childhood, we used to read and share books. So we decided to publish this magazine called Hoopla Club. It was during this time that as a filmmaker, I got involved with a lot of projects with Nimans. I'm sure you heard of Nimans. And I used to do a lot of work on mental health. So it's a very interesting stage the last 15 years of my life, where I was not only interacting with children, parents, and schools, but I was also interacting with the mental health aspect of on-ground situation. Okay? For example, if you look at all the counselors, psychiatrists, or all the institutions, they talk to people who come to them. But since I was making films on the mental scenarios, I would meet people on the road, or on the streets, or at homes, who never even thought they had an issue. So it was a very interesting combination where the psychiatrist would talk about the clinical part of life, and I would talk about the reality part of life. So that used to be very interesting. So anyway, it went on, and through my journey as a filmmaker, I was very lucky to meet some wonderful people. Amazing people who are talented, who are experts in their own domain. And the other thing I noticed was, there were a lot of children who had amazing talent, but they did not have a platform. Unless your father or you yourself or somebody in the family had a good PR reputation, there was no way a child could express himself or herself. So we said, okay, let's create a platform for children. And that's what Hoopla Club was, the magazine was. We used to have post boxes in every school. We had about 25 schools as our member schools. We actually had a post box, which we had designed. And the children had to submit articles, and the next month we would collect those articles and publish them in the magazine. And every month, I'm not joking, this was for 8 years, every month, all 22 schools, the articles would be overflowing from the post box. So we decided that there is a lot of talent out there, there's a lot of scope out there. Why can't we give them a platform? And that's when the online was coming into play. The internet and stuff were actually growing. The social media was growing, it was 2014, 15. And we decided to create an online platform for children to express. There's another thing which is happening in the process. There was a huge confusion in the society, especially as far as parenting was concerned. Like what our chief was talking about in terms of a nuclear family becoming, coming out of the where you had grandparents and stuff like that. But there was something going further down. It was no longer just a nuclear family breaking into a grandparents and parents and children family to a parents and children family. But what was happening was single parenting was coming into play. And you'll be surprised at the growth of single parenting, especially in a city like Bangalore. I'm sure the teachers here, I'm sure they'll know it. We have got school administrators here will know it. So when we actually analyzed a lot of things, we said a lot more needs to be done. And when we spoke to our educators, or the schools we know, we realized that parents had so much to, they pretended to be busy. I use the word pretend to be busy because I believe that anybody wants to do something, he or she will find time to do it. So I don't believe that could be an excuse that the parents can't spend time with children. So also along with the children having talent, we realized that teachers and parents had a lot to share. especially even peer learning. I think peer learning is the best scope way of learning or sharing. When I mean peer learning, it means all of you, I'm sure, got experiences. If you can share, you can teach more. So our platform become a platform for peer learning. We have the highest number of stories from single parents, adoptive parents. We've got parents with special needs children who are sharing their stories and stuff like that. So that's one big learning. So we actually try to put everything together under one platform. And when it comes to inclusive learning, if you look at it, our basic platform talks about know, learn, do, share. What we mean by this is people don't even know things. Do you know that? Everybody blames Google for it. When we put this platform together, the one thing I heard often was, Bala, why do you want to do this? Everything is available on Google. But would you ever search it? Do you know what to search for? And do you know the information that Google throws at you, is it right? You have no clue. You go blindly with it. So we decided to create what I'm sure, the older audience will understand, is a book library online. It's very similar to your libraries you have in colleges and schools, right? So when you walked into a library, you saw books and books and books and books and books under different sections. But you never went and read all those books. But what would happen there was your teacher would say, listen, now get me a small essay on, say, Indus Valley civilization. So we would go to the book library and we would go to the section on, say, civilizations or history or wherever that category is. But as you walked into the library and went to your section, you saw 100 other sections. There was geography, there was psychology, there was history, there was something else. So you got aware of things. You got aware of things. You possibly never even knew that there's something called psychology that exists at a school level. But when you walked into a library, you saw this word psychology. And out of curiosity, you picked up a book. You liked it, didn't like it. That's okay. But somewhere in your brain it's ingrained. So Hoopster is exactly what that is. We have built this huge platform. Where we say, okay, you can go to it, check out, learn, we'll drive you to a particular section, the rest you discover. And that's what we are not doing nowadays. We are not discovering things. Nobody is letting you discover things. And this is not the child's fault. And I learned this honestly from the last 15 years and 20 years of research, that it is not the child's fault. The child is perfectly fine. It's the parents who are to blame. And I keep insisting on this fact. The parents are to blame. I think a lot needs to be done, because when I go to schools today, I'm sure we all relate to it, the teachers will relate to it. Everyone is scared of the parents. The child is scared of parents, the teachers are scared of parents, the management is scared of parents. So I think a lot needs to be done in the parenting level. So parenting is one of the biggest stories we have included in this. And unfortunately, most of the people always talk about, when they speak, they see to it they are politically correct. Okay, we don't want to be politically correct. We want to call a spade a spade. And the reason I'm telling you all this is, all of you here, I don't know how many of you are here, possibly 50, 60 of you here, I think you have taken time off to come on a Saturday afternoon and listen to what we speak here. So for me, you are the ambassadors of change. Each one of you has put in an effort, and I really appreciate it. Hema ma'am has taken effort. I've known her for some time, and she's made an effort to put this together. For me, people like her are my action heroes. This is the world's first community where we are trying to build people, who are acting, not just talking. There's been enough talk in this world so far. So we are really trying to, on our website, if you go and check out our stuff, we act something called Super Hoopers. We got something called Super Mom and Dad. We got something called My School is Best. Because everybody is doing such wonderful stuff. But they don't get a platform. I have got children who say, I washed my dad's car today. and he sends photographs and the article. For me, he's an action hero. I have a girl who says, I help mom, to clean up the whole thing. So things like that, and parents are sharing stuff. So we have created the platform, we have built the whole thing. What we are looking for are ambassadors like you. When you talk of inclusivity, it's a strange word. I mean, corporates talk of inclusivity, diversity, and trust me, none of them know what they're talking about. But as a filmmaker, I work with every corporate in Bangalore. And when you have camera in your hand, the doors open, people speak. And I hear stories which none of you will ever have heard. So having gone with that experience, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. Nobody's talking about it. So I would really like you guys to actually, join hands with whatever Hema ma'am doing, and we're all here to do it, and be the ambassadors. I think it's time to bring about a change. We can keep talking about inclusive. When you go to a corporate, when you go to a school, you know what they say? We also do this. Everybody says we also do it. Do what? You think somebody coming and talking to you for half an hour, like me coming and talking to you for 15 minutes, is going to make any difference? It's just a box to be ticked. What we are talking about is a continuity in engagement. So every program needs to have a continuity in engagement. So each of you can be the ambassadors. Each of you can take whatever you have learned here into your lives. Could be a home life as parent, could be a school life as teacher. What we really lack is a continuity in engagement. Go to a corporate, we also have a counselor coming and telling us. Go to a school, we also got counselors. Please do a research on that. How does it help if somebody comes and gives you a talk on depression and goes off? The person who actually requires help doesn't know where to go after that. None of us know where to go. Somebody came and talked about anxiety. Somebody came and talked about addiction and went back. So what? The person who actually needs the help doesn't have a resource to go to. So at Hoopsters, we actually build, bring Hoopsters again and again because we have built a platform out of experience. Okay? So we're the only organization which talks of awareness, intervention and support. Okay, we have put together people because I met those wonderful people in my life who are not PR guys, but they're amazing human beings with amazing knowledge. So over 40 years, people I met, I put them all together across domains. And we're the first guys to integrate mental health life skills. And also integrating that along with parenting and teachers training. There are teachers here, okay? I think you need to ask to be, what Sir said, you need to ask your management to train you in the 21st century way of teaching. Because the 21st century classroom is very different. It's very different. You're teaching the millennials. I feel sorry for the teachers, honestly. I spend enough time in schools, but I feel really sorry for the teachers. They're really bound. At one level, the administration is binding them. The second level, the parents are binding them. So, I know the way they are stretched. So I think it's time we all stop, being politically correct, what we speak. I think all of you can start the movement, along with all of us who are trying to do some things. And why can't we be the team which is a change catalyst? But the word inclusive, diverse, you ask any corporate, you're from corporate, right? Yeah. I can call her and ask her whether she knows anything about diversity and inclusiveness. These are terms that are used, but is it really followed? Is it?
Not 100%, but...
Yeah, they have one person. Okay? Well, I know. I have gone and spoken to HRs of top MNCs. The HR person who interviews this, a person with any kind of challenge has no clue what he or she is talking to. They have no clue. Okay, it's just a tick mark. It's a box there. We need 15 employees who are challenged because we are inclusive. Or, we are into diversity or whatever the words are. It's just jargons created for making no sense to anybody. Okay, so can we get together. Small. I mean, I can see faces that you're looking at me and not sleeping, which is very good. So each of us, I think by the end of the day, what I would really like to see is to see what Hima ma'am is doing to take it further. If each of you can do your small bit and start the movement. We need change catalysts. Rest is all jargons. Rest is all what we can do. You know, a child, I'm sure you stay in an apartment, the gated complexes. The child is very happily playing with other children. It's the parent who comes and talks, says something stupid. Oh, don't play with him. Don't play with her. You know, he is stupid, she is stupid. Or he is blind. You know, a blind is blind. And I'm not against also this whole thing of terminology, which are visually challenged. Come on, give it a break. Does it make a difference? Does it really make a difference? We all grew up saying a person is blind. Did it change our attitude towards them? No. So I think we should get out of the jargons. I think we should make movements. Inclusive will come in the way. But if we are where we are today, the future, I'm sorry to say this, looks bleak. You know, how many of us know that what the jobs are going to be in the future? In 3 years, take my word for it. Okay? What you call jobs today will not exist. So what are you telling children for? Parents have no clue what the job opportunities are. Like he said, neighbor did something, you also should do that. With no idea what the child's capacity is, capability is. Yes, there is online. Everybody is talking online. I'll ask the teachers here, how many of you genuinely, honestly felt comfortable online? Honestly. Because post-COVID, I went to my various schools who are part of what we're doing, and they all said, oh Bala, you know what, brilliant. Online worked brilliantly. Did it really? Be honest. I'll challenge you that none of the teachers have enjoyed it. No child will have enjoyed it. Okay? So let's be very open and say there's a problem, let's solve it. Why are we putting everything under the carpet? The jobs are going to be crazy in tomorrow. You know the relationships today, the communication levels are zilch. Do you know how many people have got mental health issues in one form or other? Can anybody make a wild guess? Across age groups. Anybody? Make a wild guess. Out of 10, how many do you think have an issue?
3 to 4%.
9? Yeah, she's closest. I would say 9.555. So it's that bad, and we're not opening up. Please, I mean, you know, we are doing a whole survey starting next month on digital addiction among children. We did a test run. Out of 750 children in a school in Pune, okay, almost 200 were high risk. High risk. Okay, and about another 30% was mid risk, hardly 5% was no risk or low risk. And this is what it is. There is a truth staring at us. Let's really work at that. All of you can contribute. You know, all of you can contribute. Please do not say there's no time. And that's the dumbest thing I've heard over years. We have no time. I'm sure we can make time. And just go back to your days of your days, even now I'm sure. Okay? Go back to your days when you had to meet your girlfriend or boyfriend. You would make time, right? You would see to it that you made the time. So feel as passionately about what you want to do and make time for it. And you can. She's given you a platform. We have a platform. We've got wonderful speakers here who are doing some brilliant work in their own domains. Why can't we all get together? That's what's missing, collaboration. There is no communication, there is no collaboration. Can we get into it? Okay, ma'am, just tell me when I'm shooting my stuff. Okay. She said, yeah, that's it. Okay. But yeah, if you want to make this event worthwhile, your time worthwhile, can we all get together and do something? That's all I'm asking you for. Rest will happen. Rest doesn't matter. Can we? Come on, guys. I thought that was loudest. Come on, teachers here. It's for your own good. And let me tell you one thing. We are not doing the world of anybody a favor. We are doing ourselves a favor. You know what the baseline of Hoopsters is? You have heard this great thing which is happening in the world? Let's make a better planet for our children. You know? Let me tell you one thing. The planet can take care of herself. Okay? She doesn't need humans to take care of her. I think it's time we left behind better children for the planet. Because that is more critical. The planet can wipe us all off if she wants to. So let's not even pretend to be superior to the planet. So let's make better children for the planet. Thank you very much. And I hope you all do something with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for raising the concern that is actually a reality that we need to take care for our future generations. That was really needed, a voice. Well, I request you to come up on the stage so that Dr. Krishna sir, please, I would request you to felicitate Bala sir.
He's very systematic about this. See? It was me on this side. Here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words and thank you for your voice.
Let's make the afternoon worthwhile, okay? Correct?
Well, now I would request Sharat sir and Harish sir to come up on the podium so that the felicitation. And I would request Bala sir to felicitate Sharat and Harish sir. You can have the drink. You can drink water.
I should learn from how to hold that thing now.
Make it triangle. Give them an applause.
Well, we have two of the talents, who is a dynamic business person and the other one is a music talent. And we really thank you for joining us for this evening and making your presence a blessing. Thank you for joining us. Alright. So we have heard our chief guest and Bala sir speak about the reality, the digital technology, the psychology that is affecting our younger generation, and we have learned many things from them. Yes, from their experience, from the reality, we have learned so much. And now I would like to call upon the artist Kumbar sir upon the stage to address the gathering. Upon you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you not giving the mic to me, because my heart rate is beating that everyone can easily hear that. Okay, so wherever I go, firstly, I get bunch of colors, brushes to demonstrate. But here I'm getting a mic, so I'll do my best. Myself, N.S. Kumbar. I'm an artist and founder of N.S. Kumbar Art Academy. So I want to speak few words, few things which I always address while speaking with my students and their parents. So the first thing, I think everyone can relate to this wall. How many of your walls are scribbled like this? The ones, yes. So the scribbling line, and the first scribbling line ends with a beautiful Mona Lisa painting. How many of agree for this? Yes. So the first scribbling line, when we start giving lot of what is it? So please encourage me. Lot of thanks again. When we start giving encouragement to them, so they will become a great artist one day. So the next, identifying the creativity in your child. So first thing, we have to identify creativity in our child, whether they are an artist, whether they are a singer, they are a sportsman. So whatever they have skill, we have to identify them, and then we have to try to give life to their creativity. So that is how we need to do. And art every day. The skill develops only when you put a lot of efforts every day. Right? So art every day to give a life to your art. Art as a profession. Everyone will start their drawings on wall, and they will do paintings till 9th standard, 8th standard, 10th standard. And 10th standard they will completely stop. Because of art is not getting to profession. So why don't we think art is also a profession? We can have a lot of money, right? Money is not matter, but money is also a lot of matters for leading life, right? So bring life, your artworks to profession level, where you can lead your life happily, earn good money. That's how it is. The Indian artist, I think, who can name them? Raja Ravi Verma. All of you know them, right? Amrita Shergill. They are one of the Indian greatest artists whose painting sales in crores. They will do it in 5-10 minutes and it will sell for 30 crores, 80 crores. There is no value, there is no end for it. So that is how start scribbling lines and make a great Mona Lisa painting.
Thank you for your words, sir. And sir, please be here. And I would, okay, Nirmal Shah sir, I would request you to come up on the stage so that the student felicitation would go on easily. So I would request all the students, that is Kritika from Presidency, Spurti from Sai Chaitanya, and Jayasimha from Little Lily, Karthik Vidya Mandir, Varun Sri Chaitanya, Bhargavi from RCIS, and Tejaswini from KV, and Meghna Rao from Vidyaniketan. please come and line up on here. Thank you for being here and making our evening a beautiful one, sir. Ritika from Presidency and Spurti from Sai Chaitanya, Jai Sahan from Little Lily, Karthik from Vidya Mandir, Varun from Sri Chaitanya, Bhargavi from RCIS, and Tejaswini from KV and Meghna Rao from Vidyani People. So these students, they have excelled in different fields, maybe in their curriculum, maybe in their extracurriculum, everywhere they have excelled, and they are here as an example for other students, other learners who are on their way to learn many things. We'll take them as a good example and we'll be awarding or we'll be felicitating them for today's speech. Alright. So Kritika from Presidency.
Action replay.
Next, Spurti. Do we have Spurti? Thank you, Nirmal sir. We would like to call upon Sudhamani ma'am to felicitate the students. And also thank you, Krishna sir, for being here and felicitating our wonderful students. Next, it's Karthik. He is from Vidya Mandir. Next Next, it's Varun from Sri Chaitanya. He's not here, while I request his mother to take upon. So next, it's Tejaswini from Kendriya Vidyalaya. Last but not least, we have Meghna Ravti from Vidyanidhi. So many of you might be wondering, why are these kids getting felicitated while all the adults are here being achieved so much? It's probably because when I met Hemlata ma'am, she clearly elaborated me that the benefiters or the people who are benefiting from this program is the kids. So we'll call them. If there is a motivation for them to be here, they will surely come, and this is the motivation. So a huge round of applause for all the kids, or all the achievers here. And next, we have some of our renowned artists who we have and we are blessed to be here with. And we would like to call upon the stage Ayansh Rupani, Vivan Singhal, Ananya Naik, Ashish, Shreya Shet, Yuval Srinivas, and Trisha. So you can see art has no age limits. The creativity, the art, every time motivates them probably to get up in the early morning or probably to go to schools. And now we can call upon our hero Bala sir to felicitate our little heroes who have achieved in the field of art. First, it's Ayansh.
So we have to focus on photos. Oh, yeah. Probably you can come here. All of us. All the photographers come here. Yeah, we are nice.
Smile.
Are you happy, Ayansh? Are you happy?
Are you hungry?
He is happy. Next, it's Vivan Singhal. Okay, who is hungry?
Come this side. Come this side.
Okay, we have the hungry kid now.
All the answers. Yeah, wrong answers, but yeah.
Alright, next we have Ananya Naik.
That initiative wanting to answer is also look high.
Next, it's Ashish. Ashish the hero. Next, we have Shreya. And next, we have Yuval Srinivas. So, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಕರೀತಾರೆ?
ಹೀಗೆ ಕೂರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಶಾಲ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ತಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ.
Last but not the least, we have Trisha.
Because the proof of saying ask and there'll be always an answer.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what we
yeah.
forget is we stopped asking.
Thank you so much and congratulations for all the achievers who are being here.
Yes, we'll have a look. You need to go back again, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Behind the camera.
It's so true that wherever we have children, we will have colors, for sure. Colors and laughter everywhere. Alright, we have spoken, we have heard speech, we have received awards, we have celebrated, we are being celebrated. And in the middle, we do need a break, right? Yes? Break bekalva. Break boring agirbardu. It should be enjoyable, right? And we have Mr. Pancham Halivandi sir to make our break more interesting. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ashwini. Good evening, all. Hello. I'm not going to talk, but I'm going to entertain you all with some Hindi songs.
Your talk itself like me.
Thank you, sir. So, this is the medley which I'm going to sing now, combining all some favorite songs of Hindi. So this I'll name it as a tribute to Kishore Kumar. Some of the good songs, and I want everybody to sing along with me. Teachers,
I'm Johnny.
see they're all busy there. Madam, talking about you. You're all ready? Yes. Yes. Thanks.
All the teachers have gathered, no, so what's it?
आने वाला पल जाने वाला है, आने वाला पल दीवाना होता है, मस्ताना होता है, हर खुशी से हर गम से बेगाना होता है। प्यार दीवाना होता है, मस्ताना होता है, हर खुशी से हर गम से बेगाना होता है। दिल क्या करे जब किसी से किसी को प्यार हो जाए, जाने कहा कब किसी को किसी से प्यार हो जाए। ऊंची ऊंची दीवारों सी इस दुनिया की बस में, हो ना कुछ तेरे बस में चुरी, ना कुछ मेरे बस में। दिल क्या करे जब किसी से किसी को प्यार हो जाए, जाने कहा कब किसी को किसी से प्यार हो जाए। So you are enjoying, right? Where are you listening with me? मेरे सपनों की रानी कब आएगी तू, आए रुत मस्तानी कब आएगी तू, बीती जाए जिंदगानी कब आएगी तू, चलिया तू चलिया। मेरे सपनों की रानी कब आएगी तू, आए रुत मस्तानी कब आएगी तू, बीती जाए जिंदगानी कब आएगी तू, चलिया तू चलिया। रूप तेरा मस्ताना, प्यार मेरा दीवाना, रूप तेरा मस्ताना, प्यार मेरा दीवाना, भूल कोई हमसे ना हो जाए। रूप तेरा मस्ताना, प्यार मेरा दीवाना, भूल कोई हमसे ना हो जाए। रात नशीली मस्त समा है, आज नशे में सारा जहां है। रात नशीली मस्त समा है, आज नशे में सारा जहां है। आए शराबी मौसम बहता है, रूप तेरा मस्ताना है, प्यार मेरा दीवाना, भूल कोई हमसे ना हो जाए। So let's clap now. Yeah. ये जवानी है दीवानी, मेरी रानी रानी तो पीछे मुड़ के चली कहाँ, पीछे मुड़ के गिली गिली रखा, 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 पिली 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 पिली। ये जवानी है दीवानी, मेरी रानी रुक जाओ रानी, जरा पीछे मुड़ के चली कहाँ, पीछे मुड़ के। नीले नीले अंबर पर चांद जब आए, प्यार बरसाए, अंबर बरसाए। बरसाए हमको तरसाए। You know, round of applause. ऊंचे ऊंचे अंबर जब झूमते हैं पर्वत को, प्यासा प्यासा अंबर जब झूमता है सागर को। ऊंचे ऊंचे अंबर जब झूमता है पर्वत को, प्यासा प्यासा अंबर जब झूमता है सागर को। सांसों की गर्मी को, बाहों की गर्मी को, दिल मेरा लग जाए, कोई तो आ जाए। ऐसा कोई साथी हो, ऐसा कोई प्रेमी हो, प्यास दिल की बुझा जाए। नीले नीले अंबर पर चांद जब आए, प्यार बरसाए हमको तरसाए। Thank you. Thank you so much.
Missing at the cake.
Alright, let me ask you all, how was it? I mean, I don't think only saying nice does the justice for this. How was it? Excellent? Awesome?
Yes.
A huge round of applause. So,
It got over sooner. Very soon.
yeah, we literally did not feel it how the time went. I mean, it was really a break, very short break indeed, right? Yes, audience? Alright, so we are done with the break and we'll head over to the center of this program. We'll continue the learning process. We'll not stop where we were. We have learned so many things and we are yet to learn so many things. While I said we'll remember it now, we all will be children today and will listen what we have to learn, what we have to improve and will inculcate in our daily life. And now I would call upon Mr. Nirmal Shah sir upon the dais and request you to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So, very tough act to follow after the amazing entertainment. Panchamda. Panchamda is gone.
His name is also Pancham.
Exactly.
What a
So,
coincidence.
just right and amazing. So, I'm going to put everybody into a serious mode, but I hope you enjoy it a little bit. So, Counting Well is a math learning program. So I'm going to talk about inclusivity in the context of mathematics, right? And how we make it, we create exclusivity as well in the same context. And that's why democratizing maths learning. We want to bring that inclusivity when it comes to math learning. Math is a life skill. Everybody knows that, everybody understands that. But when it comes to studying it in the classroom, we only look at it as if it's a subject and just about the marks that we have to score. But ultimately, it needs to be developed as a skill. So, take a look at this picture. This is how maths is taught in the classroom today. What we do is teach children concepts, right? We say learn triangles, area of triangle, trigonometry, mensuration, formula, this, that, just dump it in their minds. And just as these books are lying here disorganized, it's the same way all the concepts that kids learn, they sit disorganized in their minds. Like that, end of the year, when they're ready to start the next year, what do we do with these books? Give it to the Radiwala, right? So they're gone and then next set of books come. What we really want is this. We want organized thoughts, right? We want the children to learn in a way that they can access what they have learned any point of time and that they can actually look for what they have learned at any point of time. This is what we want to create for children. Unfortunately, the way our syllabuses are designed, the way our curriculums are designed, and the way our classrooms are designed, which are very, very teacher-centric, we are not able to achieve that. So, what is the problem that we are trying to address? The problem is what we know as maths anxiety. How many of you here have had maths anxiety? Yeah, this is first one.
All of it. I don't think anybody is an exception. I bet
I myself have had
raising
maths
their
anxiety.
hands, but I'm sure all of us.
In my college, in my second year of college, so I did BSc chemistry. I'm a chemistry grad, but I had to study math. And I scored 4 marks out of 100 in math. So what did I do after that? And you know how I scored those 4 marks? I just wrote the questions and handed in the paper. I do not know how I got those 4 marks. Yeah. So,
For your best handwriting, sir?
it wasn't as
Our
good.
teachers only will ask that.
So,
Hey, kiddos, don't follow this, okay?
don't try this. Because I'll tell you the next thing I tried. The next thing I tried was what kids do as well. I went to my friend and I said, look, there's a follow-up exam, right? They call it the ATKT and different names are there. So I took that compartment exam and I requested my friend if he can help me. So he said, okay, he was sitting in ahead of me, I was behind him. So he said, copy. And I copied. Okay, I did that. Now, we scored 40 marks. Okay, how we scored 40 marks is, he scored 21, I scored 19. And both of us had the same answers. So the problem is maths anxiety, right? Now, was this a problem that came in the college? In reality, that problem started at school level, right? Because my fundamentals were not strong. And because my fundamentals were not strong, I had that maths anxiety. And that anxiety was actually the cause of my not wanting to learn maths, right? So why that anxiety built up? It starts with what I call as skill gaps. And I will get a little deeper into that as well. But solving maths problem is not just about knowing the formulas or memorizing the formulas or just doing number crunching, right? That's what we all think math is about. If I'm good at numbers, I'm good at math. But math is also about problem solving. When we talk about inclusive learning and skill building and confidence building, all these 3 things are important when you want to become good at math. You need to have confidence. You also need to have problem solving skills. And in context of math, I will talk about that. Conceptual gap and learning deficits are another 2 very, very important aspects. Now, conceptual gaps are very simple to understand, right? If you don't know a topic, then that's a conceptual gap. If you did not understand trigonometry, that's a conceptual gap. But the second problem that builds because of this conceptual gap is the learning deficit. And with maths, what happens is that if you go back to the picture of those books I showed you and you throw away the books at the end of the year, what kids do is they also throw away whatever they have learned at the end of the year. With maths, you cannot do that, right? Because with maths, it always builds up. What you learn in 6th grade builds up to 7th grade, builds up to 8th grade, and so on. If you don't let it build up, then the learning deficit builds up. And it builds up the same way. So if you had a 10% learning deficit in 6th grade, that will become 15% in 7th. That will become 20% in 8th. And then you will score 4 marks in your final exams. And finally, standardized learning. And I think Dr. Krishna also brought this up, that we teach children as if they are equal, right? You said that we do mediocre or middle level learning, right? So we assume that if there are 30 children in class, there are 5 who are very good, there are about 10 who are not good at all, and the remaining 15 are average. We consider the average and we teach the average. And obviously, it's not challenging enough for the good ones, it is too hard for the not so good ones. And that standardized learning, or what we call as mediocre level learning, is what causes another set of problems. And then that builds up the negative spiral, right? That maths anxiety, once it builds up, then you will be stuck at that 4 marks at the final exam. Now, let me show you this problem in a different light. So, what do we teach in the classroom? We ask a question like, what is 768 divided by 8? And most kids, if they are in, let's say, 7th, 8th grade, they will be able to solve the problem, or at least they will know how to solve the problem, right? They write 768, then write 8 and do some division and try to divide. But what do we expect in real life, right? What do they really need to solve for? And this is the kind of question that they will get in the examination as well. You have taught them division, but the question you are asking is something like this. There are 768 students in the class, and 1 out of 8 students have a personal computer at home. So how many students have a PC at home? Now, the solution is the same for both of them. But the kids do not know how to solve that problem, because we don't teach them how to solve that problem. We don't teach them problem solving. We only teach them number crunching, right? And that's where this whole problem comes. So if I go to the next slide, yeah. So when we look at problem solving skills, right? What are the problem solving skills with respect to math? These are things that we teach in the classroom. We teach them knowledge, we give them definitions. You know, it's there in the book, they memorize it, you know, they just rote learn it. We teach them calculation, we teach them number crunching. What we don't teach them is the ability to strategize a solution. How to model an answer, or how to model the solution before they actually solve for the answer, before they actually do the calculations. And most important, we never consider comprehension as a part of mathematics, right? Language plays a very, very important role in math learning, but we never think about it that way. We think math is math. We never think that math is an English language problem. That's an English teacher's problem, right? But in reality, if you have a question like this, that, you know, in a triangle ABC, measure of angle A is 40 degrees less than measure of angle B, which is 50 degrees less than measure of angle C. How many of you here can decipher this question and answer this? And how many of us as adults can decipher this? If we can't, how do we expect children to do it? But this is the kind of question we give them. So if we give them these questions, then how are we preparing them to solve these kind of problems, right? That's what matters. So the important thing is that we identify whether children are not good at math because of this or this or this, and then we help them in the right way. Because if we don't do that, then what we end up doing is we help build that math anxiety, right? We tell them that you are not able to solve math problems, and they assume that that's because they are not able to do calculations, but actually there are other problems which we are not even addressing. So going to the next slide. What is truly inclusive learning, according to me, right, when it comes to math learning, is where teacher is able to collaborate with the child, right? Not simply stand and broadcast something in the classroom, right? Not just write on the board and expect the children to copy and walk off and assume that I have learned something. They should be able to collaborate with the child. How should they be able to do that? How would they be able to do that? Is when they start having data. They don't make an assumption that the child has learned or not learned, or the child is good or bad. They get proper data to understand what the child has learned, what the learning gaps are, and what the child needs to learn in order to overcome these learning gaps, right? And then they can make the learning truly personalized for every child if they know what exactly is lacking in every child. And therefore, their focus turns from completing the curriculum to actually learning, achieving learning outcomes, right? That's what matters. Right now, what happens in the classroom is the teacher is like an engine. The train is running, all it needs to do is reach the destination. It does not think about whether passengers are reaching the destination, and that's what we want to do, right? We want to make sure that the passengers are arriving at the destination. When we do that, the confidence builds in children, they are able to get the differentiated learning, and therefore that whole learning environment also becomes non-intimidating, right? They don't have the fear that if I get this wrong, what will happen? Because whatever they're getting it wrong, the teacher understands that, and the teacher is able to intervene. And therefore, they are able to involve the parents in the learning process. Now the parents know what the child is really lacking. The parents are not hearing in the PTM that the child is just 70%, so he's just average, or he's not average, or he's too talkative, or he's too naughty. But they know exactly why the child is lacking and what the teacher is doing in order to assist the child. And therefore, that cycle of cooperation also builds between the parent and the teacher. So this is how I see truly inclusive learning happening in the math classroom. So that's it, that's my vision, and thank you, that's my time. So we are hoping that we transform the way math is taught, right from pedagogy to how it is delivered in the classroom. And I would love for all of you to join us, and if you have any questions, I'll be around, so I'll be happy to talk. Thank you.
Increasingly, over a period of age, as we age, we are increasingly realizing the importance of the maths teacher who taught us maths. We had a very bad maths teacher.
Very good teacher.
We had very bad maths teacher who would by heart and come, whatever he asked, don't ask. Sumne kurko. He didn't know. You know, that's how we are all taught maths. Perhaps all of us have this.
Dr. Krishna sir, please, we would request you to fill a stage.
What a privilege.
Guru Shah, sir. Guru Shishyaru, sir. And now, kids, please don't write any more questions on the answer sheets, right? And we have learned so many things, like to look positive upon the maths. Whenever we hear the maths, we don't fear anymore, right? Yes? Okay, I see the kids are nodding. Alright, thank you so much. And I'm also quite afraid of mathematics subjects, sir, to be frank.
Not now anymore after hearing neighbors.
That's true.
Everybody's going to come out and start telling, I was afraid of math.
I mean, most of us, right? Most of us are afraid of maths. We were afraid of maths, not anymore. Well, and we have another talent who is very young, and we learn more things from him. So we'll call upon Mr. Navneet SK upon the stage to address the gathering. Over to you.
Thank you everybody. There was this one quote, I think, and I don't know the veracity of it, by Bill Gates apparently, that says that he would hire a lazy person over a very smart person in order to get the most efficient work done. This is something that I heard growing up in the 2010s, and it's something that I took way too seriously. I felt like it was the easy way out of everything, and now it's Bill Gates talking about it, so it must be true. I grew up with that, and I just used to do whatever was the easiest way to get out of what was required of me, and spend the rest of the time doing what I really enjoyed doing. I believe during the introduction they mentioned that I was drawing cars since I was 5 years old. Yes, I was also sitting and drawing cars behind all my notebooks, all my textbooks. I used to finish all my question papers in, if it's a 3-hour paper, I'd finish in 2 hours and spend the last hour drawing cars. So that was all I ever wanted to do. And going from there in 10th grade, somehow, I don't know what devil got into me, but suddenly I fell in love with maths. Suddenly I fell in love with math, and I ended up scoring quite well, I think, in 10th. So this gave my parents really weird false hope that I would become an engineer. So they put me in Diksha and joined me for the AIEEE coaching. As soon as I joined, I started hating math again. Always done normal. So I got back to drawing cars again. Sitting in the front bench. I was never a backbencher, sitting in the front bench and drawing cars. By the end of 12th grade, it got to the point where my chemistry teacher and my physics teacher were busy critiquing my car sketches rather than actually teaching. They were like, he's a lost cause, but he is very, very passionate about this, so eventually he'll do something. So, okay, might as well give him feedback on his car sketch. So, I really appreciated that. From there, I ended up getting a scholarship to go to Italy at the age of 17. Terrible decision. I ended up completely messing up my stomach by not knowing how to cook. Going to Italy and making probably very undercooked pasta and eating for 3 years did not do me any favors. But during that time, I had the honor of studying under very, very legendary designers. I went for transportation design. I studied under Mr. Giorgio Giugiaro, one of the godfathers of car design, and a certain Mr. Masato Inoue, a Japanese man who was more Italian than Japanese. He taught me a bunch of stuff, and he told this one thing that stuck with me throughout. Because this, going back to the Bill Gates quote, he said that my true talent is in figuring out stuff, right? Figuring out stuff the easy way, figuring out stuff more than the easy way, the most efficient way. This was something that I took to heart, and even during my internship, when I went to my internship in Tokyo, I did with Honda. Even over there, they expected me to do things the very systematic way of going step by step, sitting and drawing, sketching by hand, and then going to do clay models. So this is a fun fact. So all cars that you see on the road today are sculpted by hand, right? They're sculpted using clay. So the reason for this is that computers do things a certain way, but after a certain point, you need that human touch, because cars at the end of the day are an emotional purchase for people, and it is sculpture at the end of the day. It is a fine art. So this was what was expected, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to do it, and I was not down for that. Right? I wanted to experiment on a few different things with algorithms, which were coming up just as I graduated. There was this one Renault concept car called the Renault Trésor that had a very particular surface structure. Unfortunately, I don't have pictures. I wish I would have created a better presentation. But that had the structure that was impossible to generate manually, right? You had to use a computer to generate that particular structure. So this was something that fascinated me, that, okay, a human being working with a computer to create something that is emotional, right? This was going against the norm of everything that's considered to be car design, right? And this was something that me, probably because I was young and very rebellious, I wanted to understand how this was done, and I wanted to, push this within Honda. They did not appreciate that. So I ended up leaving. I ended up coming back over here, and I called up one of my professors and said, "Listen, Prof, I have this problem. I have this problem that I want to really experiment with this new tech that's coming up, but the OEMs are not willing to, take a risk with that. So I want to do it. Can you give me a job to do it?" And he was like, "Yes, of course." And I got lucky that way. I ended up setting up an Italian design studio here in Bangalore at the age of 21. Stupid idea, right? Nobody wants to give a project that's probably worth about 3 or 4 crores to a 21-year-old, right? It's just a matter of optics, I guess. So we never actually ended up getting any projects over here, but we did a few experiments with this particular software. It was still very, very nascent. We started to develop a few things. And then I was like, okay, let me see what I can do with it. Forget about the Italian studio. Forget about the super high fees. Let me see if I can find somebody where I can utilize something like this. And lo and behold, a startup approached me, saying that they wanted to design an electric scooter. Okay, so they came to me and they said that Ather. How many of you have heard of Ather, the scooter company, right? Yeah, Ather. Yes. Yes, exactly. So, Ather has come up with an electric scooter. We want something that can compete with it. So I was like, okay, fine, fairly boring project to just compete with something that already exists. But okay, fine, you're paying me, I'll do it. Doing the project, I realized that there were a few things. So if you, there was this one particular thing that I noticed. I was working out of New York at that time. And every single day we used to order in food, right? We used to order in food. Every time I had to send a document, I'd just upload it. Every time I had to buy something, I'd just buy it off Amazon. And then I realized there's a common link over here, right? All these services are enabled using scooters here in India, right? Every single person who's delivering food, who's delivering parcels, who's doing the hyperlocal delivery, they're all using scooters. So I was like, okay, nobody is really, and this was about 3 years back, right? And nobody had thought about this, that okay, the scooters that are required for this particular application is very different. And so we went ahead and we spoke to a bunch of different people. We spoke to about 1,000 delivery riders. We spoke to every single mass mobility company in India and abroad. And we realized that these guys are doing about 75,000 kilometers annually, right? Some of these guys in Delhi, delivery riders were doing 250 kilometers a day, right? They were doing 16-hour days doing delivery, and that's insane, right? So we were like, okay, some guy doing this on an Activa will not last more than 2 years, right? They will develop back problems, they will develop wrist problems. The scooter absolutely will not survive. So we wanted to go ahead and build something specific for that particular application. And so I went and told this startup guy, let's see, this is something that we have in mind. Can we go ahead and make this? And eventually I ended up becoming a co-founder of this particular company. I had ownership of this particular idea. So at the age of 22, I was chief of product for this particular company. It was a company of 2, and one was the CEO and one was the CTO. So it was something that was it feels childish now in hindsight. But what was not childish was that the second that we put out the video for the vehicle on YouTube, we got a call from Hero Motocorp, the chairman's office, saying that we want to invest. We want to do something with you. Because they immediately noticed that okay, this is something that the world needs. This is something that definitely the delivery riders would appreciate. I don't want to get into too much depth about the vehicle itself. I'd invite you to go check out the website. It's dispatchvehicles.com. And we ended up getting about 45,000 orders in about 6 months. For a vehicle that we hadn't even built a prototype of, we just put out this one video. And that was hugely good. Now, I mentioned that this was 2 people doing it, right? It was 2 people doing it, and this was during the pandemic, right? If anybody here knows anything at all about the automotive industry, that is an impossible statement, right? 2 people cannot develop a 2-wheeler during a pandemic in, let's say, about a year, right? It's impossible. This is where it goes back to what I was saying about being lazy, right? Or rather, going one step beyond lazy and talking about how to make your workflow efficient. So over here, that squiggle of lines that you see is the secret to that, right? So that's an algorithm that I wrote that basically takes into account parameters that we got from speaking to those 1,000 delivery riders and plugging it into this algorithm that generates 3D models, right? So we managed to generate parametrically about 200 different iterations of this vehicle that you see, starting from that very, very basic two wheels with a motor and battery pack to what you'll see in the next page, into this in about 45 days, right? So this is where we were able to plug in engineering input, marketing input, cost, all the bill of material, speaking to suppliers, everything that we did over the phone, we were able to plug into the algorithm to generate a vehicle, right? A vehicle that was hugely well received. So this was an eye-opener for me, for my co-founder, and for the industry, that it is possible to really now optimize what is considered to be design and engineering and R&D, right? So keeping this in mind, I finished the development and I realized that I cannot sit around and just now focus on the development of this. There are engineers to do that. I wanted to research more. And so currently I'm heading the Department of Transportation Design at Strat School of Design. It's in Yelahanka, it's a French school. And we are now very, very actively trying to overhaul the entire curriculum of R&D to really incorporate these technologies going down the road for students. The reason for this is that if two people can do this in 45 days, right, what does that mean for jobs in R&D? Right? What does that mean for all the engineers that are graduated, who've studied for years and years and have years of experience? If two people, me who's not even from an engineering background, I'm from a transportation design background, can pull this off, then what does that mean for engineers? It's a big question. It's a question that concerned Strat School of Design, so that's why they brought me on board to help figure this out, to overhaul the curriculum. Now, I joined, and then something else sort of came and hit us like a truck. How many of you here have heard of this wonderful website, well, an algorithm called ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is like a bot, that's putting it very, very lightly, that can answer any question that you have, right? Does anybody want to try? Like, throw any question that you want at me, like whatever language, anything, right? The other day, I was showing my mom this, and she told me that, oh, I'm very confident that I can beat this. It can't tell me what is the Malayalam word for antimatter, right? Like, she didn't know, I didn't know, and I just asked ChatGPT, and it wrote it in Malayalam script, right? And that just blew them away completely. So what I'm getting at is that this is a software that came about in about 6 months' time. 6 months ago, this was completely unheard of, right? This was just, nobody could ever imagine that you can just ask an AI any question, literally any question that you want, and it'll give you an answer. You can ask it to code a website and it will spit out the code for you, right? It will code Java, it will code Python, it will code anything that you want. The algorithm that I wrote, that I took 45 days to write, it could spit it out in 3 seconds, right? How do you deal with this? Where are the jobs of tomorrow going to be, right? So you mentioned it, that 3 years down the road, the jobs that we call jobs today won't exist. I'd say it's a year, right? It's going to be very, very, very different. And I think what is most important, right? And you also mentioned about knowing what to Google, right? Now it's going to be knowing what you want to ask to the AI, right? And I think that is where the talents of the future are going to be. right? Really understanding what the problems that you are committed to solve and what problems you want answers to, and working with a computer, right? To really understand where the future is going, and you have incredible tools with you. I'd really recommend you everyone over here to check out what ChatGPT is. I believe that it's going to be the literacy of tomorrow to understand how to use something like this. So that's my time for now. Thank you all very much. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That was great, Amy. We've got to know that we have AI for the future. And now I would request Mr. Kumbar sir to fill the stage. Lovely. It's really a great achievement to be here at 21 years, achieving so many things and scoring 110 out of 110. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll call upon Masni Sharat who was the stage. Krishna sir, please, I would request you to come and fill the stage, Masni.
Everybody's putting like a drink. You really get a chance to whereas Sean and then
I guess Krishna sir has many experience of illustrating, so he does know how to systematically arrange the shawl. And he does this every time.
She should be smiling when she wears it.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Alright, it's time to felicitate all the teachers. It's really a great pleasure and the moment of our day to felicitate them. So I would call upon Mrs. Padma. She's here. And Purnima BM, Kumuda, Arunamam, Namita, Poonam, Leelavati, Lalita, Vijaya, Jisha and Raja.